Welcome, welcome, welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to We Are Soccer. We're happy you can join us. We are 7 days away from the World Cup. 7 days. We finally made it. Can you believe it? Almost here. All right, the domestic leagues, the high-level domestic leagues, have gone on pause. They've paused. They're on a break. They'll be back once the World Cup is over. Some of the lower-level leagues, they're still playing. So lots to look forward to there. But the World Cup is here. Next Sunday, it kicks off. All right, why don't we address the elephants in the room? Let's get it out of the way. Let's get the obvious out of the way. Qatar was awarded this World Cup in a disgusting manner. We know this. They paid for the World Cup. FIFA let them buy it. It's disgusting. The atrocities that have happened while the infrastructure and the stadiums have been built, it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. We all know it. We all hate it. That's FIFA. There's nothing we can do. Listen, if you decide to protest this World Cup, if you decide to not watch it, not support it, not do anything about it, I'm behind you 100%. I completely agree. That is your right. No qualms. That is your right to do it because it is disgusting what FIFA did and how this was awarded and the atrocities that have happened, the deaths that have happened in Qatar because of it. But this is the pinnacle of our sport. It's the World Cup. This is where national pride comes in. This is what we all look forward to. We talk about it. You qualify for it. It's the love of the sport. This is what little kids dream of. We as adults enjoy watching it. So, you know what? I'm going to watch it. I'm going to root for it. I'm going to do the best I can. I can't ignore what FIFA's done, but I am going to enjoy it. So it is what it is. Let's get that out of the way, right? All right, we're 7 days away. As I said, it lasts from November 20th to December 18th. This is going to be a hell of a World Cup. I guarantee afterwards, a lot of the nations will come out and say things that they wanted to say beforehand but can't and couldn't because if they come out now and say things, who knows what will happen to their team? Who knows what will happen in the World Cup? And these countries depend on the money that comes in from the World Cup. No, not the money that they get for winning or playing or anything like that, but the money that it generates back home. I'll use England as an example. It is huge, these games. Pubs, bars, restaurants, they show them on TV. It draws people in. The money that gets generated through the economy, it is huge. If England didn't make it or if England pulled out of it because of the atrocities in Qatar, it would not devastate the economy, but it would hurt, and a lot of the small businesses would feel the effect. So, I guarantee after the World Cup is done, a couple nations, couple people, players, coaches will come out and say things. One of the cool things that happened this week was the Netherlands came out and said they're going to actually do some training sessions with some of the workers from Qatar. So that's kind of cool. Anyway, all right, lots to get to this week. We are just soccer crazy, right? We're going to finish up how the EPL finished up this weekend. We'll look at the standings. We'll talk about the Bundesliga, how they finished up this weekend and their standings. We may even dip our toes into La Liga, some of those standings, a lot of other stuff. Late today, news broke about Ronaldo spouting off at Man United and Erik ten Hag. He went on a local TV show there in England and, well, he had some not very nice things to say. Crying, whining, whatever you want to say. Ronaldo being crybaby. Lots of stuff there. We'll talk about some of the World Cup squads. USA, England, Germany. I know Nate's got some things to say about the France squad that he believes 2 or 3 players are missing from there. So we got some interesting things there. Guys and girls, do me a favor. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a share, and leave your comments. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Let us know how you feel about us talking about these subjects. Before we go any further, big thank you to Soccer World for their support. They have continued to support us, and we support them. If you're looking for soccer gear, go to Soccer World, as Nate is wearing a really nice black sweater. It's a German sweater. We'll show you that in a minute. Go to Soccer World. You can find them online at soccerworld.net. Also, a big thank you to Next Level Training, Aaron Bird, Renato, Scotty Wright, Dylan, the crew. Great trainers, I'm telling you right now. If you're in the Metro Detroit area or you're going to be in the Metro Detroit area and you want to get better at soccer, visit Next Level Training. They are the absolute best trainers around.
Did you see I challenged them for their Friday specials that We Are Soccer should challenge them?
I did see something. We'll see if they I take.
Aaron's
take the
down
bait.
for it.
He hasn't mentioned it. We'll
it's
see.
2v2. So
All right.
yeah.
Those voices you hear behind is Nate and Brooks at the kids' table. Nate, how are you, buddy?
Ooh, yeah! I don't know what. That was Macho Man coming in hot, coming in flying, coming in energetic. Haven't slept very well. Kind of slept on the floor last night because, kids, and all full of caffeine. But before we get into all that, even though Craig brought us down with atrocities and things that we don't really care about, just want to forget about, similar to Epstein-type island stuff, never happened. Don't show that list. Woohoo! I would like to introduce the man to my left, the smartest guy in the room, the statistician wizard, the man who is so far in Greg Berhalter's head, he had 99.9% of the USA men's call-up team correct.
Yeah.
The best-looking man in Oakland County, that's single, ladies. Hide your friends. He's out on a prowl. He's ready to go. He is the one, the only one that I know, Brooks Lambier, ladies and gentlemen. Brooks.
It's quite the intro.
Yeah. We're gonna do this all the time now. I'm gonna think of great ways to intro you in.
I like
in
that.
the most flattering possible ways ever.
I like that. I'm blushing a bit. Thank you, buddy.
It's all true.
You're a great friend, by
It's
the way.
all true.
You are a great friend, by
Your
the way.
stats are just all over the place. I don't know. If you guys saw, if anyone would watch how this show is prepped, you got Craig who shows up early, Brooks who shows up early, he's working, and I am literally the high school kid who cheats off everyone, rolling in 2 minutes before the show is about to start, just like, hey guys, what's going on? Like disheveled, don't know what's going on. Brooks like, look at this, these numbers, stats, figures here, there. Half the stuff I say is just bullshit anyways, and that's my role in life.
One thing you did forget is you show up just a couple of minutes before kickoff,
5.
and you sometimes you bring beer, and when you don't, you snag the random beers in the
Hello.
fridge.
You do.
Like
I grabbed this thing. This is gross. Anyways, we're gonna keep, and we're just gonna drink it. It's alcohol.
All right, lots to get to today, guys. Again, for everybody who's joining us online, do us a favor, give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a share, leave us a comment. In a little bit in the show, we're gonna call out some of the top We Are Soccer Facebook, and we'll call them group. Let's call them Team We Are Soccer members. We're going to point out to some of the guys, call them out for doing a great job, because our Facebook group is on fire. The amount of comments, the amount of topics that people post, I love it. I go to post things, and people have already posted it. I hear news, I see something, I copy it, I summarize it, I go to post it, and it's already up there. It might even be up there twice. So people on our Facebook group, thank you. Team Waz, you guys are doing a great job. All right, boys. Late tonight, we saw Ronaldo spouting off. He went and said, he does not respect Erik ten Hag. He does not respect Man United in the way they've treated him. He doesn't even respect his teammates. And he thinks as long back as last year, the club and the players were trying to get him out. I think this is just Ronaldo being Ronaldo and crying. This is whining. But here's what's going on. He wasn't in the squad today. Wasn't in the bench today. The Premier League goes on break for the World Cup. Ronaldo will disappear to Portugal, to Qatar with Portugal. Will play there. But what he's doing right now by saying this and coming out on a TV show and putting these words on there. He's manufacturing a move in the January window because he absolutely knows the club will not let him back. He is manufacturing a move, and that he's doing this on purpose.
Isn't Piers Morgan a huge Man United fan anyways?
Yeah, I think he actually is.
He
He's a big Man United fan.
But regardless, it's a big coup for Piers Morgan to have a player say something like this, right? To come out against the club, but who's, by the way, is paying him, I believe, £650,000 a week.
So one, I highly doubt that Pierce knew that this was going to happen, and that's number one. Number two is United said they were willing to deal him away in the beginning of the year.
They just couldn't find any suitors.
And nobody wanted him for that amount of money. So, yeah, I don't understand what he's doing. And honestly, he put himself in this situation himself because, let's face it, United, and everyone knows I'm a United fan, they panic bought him because they thought he was going to go to City. All he had to do, and it never made any sense. All he had to do is go, hey, I'm not going to go to City. And then United probably wouldn't have felt the need to do this.
Yeah.
And the move never made sense anyways. You already had Cavani here. And I think I should get a prolonged gold star from the past because I said this was an absolute horrible idea from the get-go. I hated this. When other people were like, oh, this is great, this is awesome, blah, blah, I said, no, it's awful. It's an awful idea. I don't think it's going to work. I don't think he's the type of player that, will sit back and let other people play in front of him. Yeah. And I think he will screw up the dynamic and chemistry that was going on because United were doing well prior, and they already had a talisman striker, and it didn't make sense. Yep. So, yeah, it's kind of like chickens have come to roost, and at this point, yeah, he's trying to force a move out, but force out to where, to me, I don't understand because nobody wanted him 3 months ago.
I'm going to agree with you 100%. You and I, when this move happened, Nate, when we looked at each other and went, what the hell is going on? This is a backward step for United. Mm-hmm. They're signing a guy who's kind of past his prime. He got
Ole fired. Let's understand that.
Absolutely. Juventus didn't want anything to do with him. They said, get out. He got a free move, and that's why he got so much money, right? Mm-hmm. Essentially a free move. Yep. But he stunted the growth of some of the younger players. Yep. He honestly, I think the whole Man City thing, I think Ronaldo and his agent manufactured that little bit to try to get to Man United for more money.
You're 100% right, and I think City just let it happen because they sat there laughing in the background because the reality is there's no way they could afford his salary salary and Haaland's salary. So they weren't going to trigger anything anyways because Haaland was the guy. They were already in talks with Haaland. Yeah. So there's no way they could have afforded both players' wage budget. It was a whole ruse. United actually got screwed in the If anyone should be mad right now, it should be Man United. Man United should be pissed because they're overpaying for a player that can barely produce, and that player is acting like a child. Right. And honestly, is shitting on his legacy. He's absolutely shitting on his legacy. Yep. I'm, as you know, a Man United fan. I never liked it. The chat that I'm in, the Detroit Red Devils chapter, they're all like absolutely like, yeah, F him. They went from loving this guy, best move ever, to hating him now. So there you go.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I think Man United, and they quickly figured it out last year. But he was scoring goals last year. He did save them in some games. He did get them up the table, did get them into Europe. So he did do his job last year. But now there's nowhere for him to go. I think there's one place. I think there's 2 leagues right now that he could actually go to and do well in. One of them he's already been to, Serie A, because it's a slower-paced league. And, I hate to say it, but MLS. The MLS would take him because he's a big name and would draw butts in seats, right? He would draw sales. He would draw T-shirt, jersey sales. He would be a decent fit in the MLS, although it is a very athletic league. He might struggle, which would, again, in my opinion, sully his reputation. Anyway, I think we can all agree. Big crybaby. He did this to himself. Man United are kind of screwed because they're going to have to continue paying him unless he finds a move away. But this is his way of trying to get Man United to, one, either let him go and pay him off, or just let everyone in the world know that he wants out, and hopefully a club comes in.
I just think he's having trouble accepting that he's not the player he once was. He can do everything and do all the fitness stuff. He can do all the recovery like he's done. He's done the same prep work over and over again, and you can only do that for so long before your body starts to say, I can't run as fast as I once did anymore. I'm not as strong maybe as, a younger guy that's, 5-10 years younger than him. So it's just, there's a time where everyone has, the time where you got to hang the cleats up, and I think that time is coming for him. And he had one hell of a career. And I think the shame would be if he still tries to keep playing, and it just gets worse and worse and worse.
Yeah. I think he should have went back to Sporting. I think
and
that
closed out in Portugal.
Yeah. And he should have closed out there.
Yeah.
But screw it. Send him to Miami. Don't care. And bring on Grappo or that 6'2" phenomenal forward right now playing over that they almost got. That'd be awesome.
I do want to kind of chime in and say he has lost a step, right? He's lost a little bit of what he used to be, and it's tough to understand that as a professional athlete who's been at the top for so long. It is tough to understand and tough to give it up, and he just thinks right now, I personally think that in his headspace, he thinks, I'm in a bad situation. They're not catering to my skill set. I need to find a club that will cater to my skill set, and I can still, be that great player.
There's just nothing out there.
What's crazy is...
Father Time waits for no man. He is unbeaten.
What's crazy is they flat out said 3-4 months ago, we'll let him go if somebody comes and gets him, and nobody came and got him. Yeah. So I don't understand. And his agent was actively looking. So unless there's some weird deal that they broke up, which I highly doubt in the background, but who knows, that was super secretive, and, I don't know, like Madrid was going to take him back or something, which we know that's not true, but like just, I don't understand. Like, you didn't get the hint then? Like,
no, he didn't, and it is what it is. It's a strange one. All right, boys.
Stuttgart needs a striker. Yeah. So
I'm going to ask you an honest question. Would you take him?
No.
I wouldn't take him as Villa because absolutely not.
I don't think MLS is with the stuff that happened with the girl in Vegas and everything. I think he's got to stay away from the States.
Well, how is that closed? Because didn't he pay her off or not pay her? But
I think she came back and wanted. I think she wants more or whatever. But she's willing to, if he comes back to the United States, she's willing to take him to court.
But if he settled in your lawyers listen,
there's a lot of legal obligations. I don't know if he wants to put himself and his family through.
We're talking money, lawyers, famous people. They don't go to jail. Look at FIFA.
Yeah, but do you want to have to battle that stuff and do all the court stuff if you're coming back to the United States where they can then trial?
Depends on what it is to battle. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree. Yeah. All right, boys. Let's get to one of the big topics we're talking about, the World Cup. As we said, 7 days away. That first game is on Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Qatar versus Ecuador. Not quite the most sexy game that
I'm excited.
Hoping for, but it's the first game, so we're all going to watch. It's going to be.
Yeah.
It's the opening. The opening ceremony should be cool.
Have you not forgotten that I've actually met like several of the Qatari national players when I was in Austin and have my picture with them?
Yeah,
I'm pumped.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah. I got I'll post it there. A couple of the starters. So speaking of which,
so they're like pretty much from everywhere. They just have dual nationality.
I am unclear what you're talking about.
Because that's pretty much what Qatar is. It was just a makeshift team they put together that aren't actually from the country.
Wait a minute.
They applied for passports so they can
Wait a minute. Are you insinuating that Qatar could operate and
I am very frustrated right now. If anyone's watched the Netflix documentary on the World Cup, I am very frustrated with FIFA. I mean, I watched stuff before, and I knew Sepp Blatter was a creep.
You're just now catching up with what the rest of us think of FIFA, because it's...
I'm not just catching up. I'm just frustrated, and I just think, I will watch this World Cup, but I will not support what Qatar has done.
I've done some massive research. I've listened to the whole Wondery podcast. I've started watching some of those documentaries, and I've come to some really big conclusion here, and you guys are going to be really surprised by this next statement that I'm going to make, because I don't think anyone thought this. But possibly, just maybe, guys, just maybe, there could have been some scrupulous activity going on. It might not have been on the up and up, guys. Just saying. There's a small chance.
Oh, Inspector Clouseau over there.
Yeah. No, but so you've been watching that documentary.
Yeah.
And I've listened to the Wondery podcast.
I just got to the part where they like in 18, England had the best presentation and should have won.
Thank you.
And then the United States should have it this year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it was Russia with Mr. Vladimir Putin, who obviously we know he's a big criminal right now. I don't want to get too political with everything on our show, but we can see what Russia's going through at the moment and how much money all those Russian oligarchs have and how they're getting, fined and their money's getting taken. Yeah. So that was definitely bought and paid for. Yeah. And then same with Qatar.
So
because Sepp Blatter just wanted money with everyone else. And that was really cruel. And it's really cruel that I didn't really get into the World Cup stuff probably until later, like 98, early 2000s. And pretty much every World Cup I've ever watched, I've just figured out that it's pretty much been bought and paid for and not handled the right way, which is terrible.
You don't say, but yes, you are right.
It's really tragic, to be honest with you.
So, I listened to the podcast, the Wondery podcast, which was, I forgot the name of it, but it doesn't matter. Anyways, it was actually very solid because it went all the way back to, and they were talking about and interviewing people that were in those rooms that were at in Switzerland for those bids. And the one guy said that there was 20, they sent packets to 24, not just them, but all the countries. They sent packets like the bid packets, and only 2 people, the 24, actually read them. And it was quite clear what was going on in those rooms. And he said he's been a politician and worked in politics because he was there with.
This is worse than politics.
Yeah, he was there with.
This is like compared to mafia stuff.
He was there with Obama's, council, whatever the president at the time, council
and
that
Clinton
was there.
Was a representative that was going over there.
And he said in all his life, even in politics, that this was the most corrupt thing he's ever saw in his entire life.
Exactly.
So. And anyways, here we go. Yeah. No one's died building stadiums. 7,000.
As we said, it's the elephant in the room, right? It's something we don't want to talk about, but it is there, unfortunately. I think moving
nothing's going to come of it.
After tonight, we'll focus a lot more on the soccer because that's what's going to take center stage.
Yep.
But before we do that, there is a few little pieces I want to hit upon, which Nate and Brooks just mentioned. Yes, FIFA's corrupt. Yes, it costs a lot of money. Here's some more details for you guys about this World Cup and previous World Cups. This is Qatar 2022, the most expensive World Cup in the history of the tournament. To give you an example, 2018 in Russia cost $11.5 billion. That's money that had to be paid by Russia for the building of the infrastructure in the stadiums and to FIFA. Yep. All right, 2014 in Brazil cost $15 billion. 2022 in Qatar, $220 billion. Billion with a B. $220 billion has had to be paid out for this World Cup to actually go ahead. And they're not done yet. Some of the stadiums, they're a week away. They're still building some of those stadiums. They're still building the hotel rooms around the city for these people to come and fly into. Yeah. They're in trailers. It's bizarre.
And you know why? It was $200 billion is because, and this is why they never should have had it in the first place. If you're looking at, take everything else out of it. If you look at logical things that shouldn't happen, and the biggest criticism before all this stuff came out was they flat out didn't have the infrastructure to run all this shit, and that's where the $200 billion went to. They weren't even close.
They didn't have one stadium. I don't think there was one stadium.
No, there wasn't. None of the stadiums were built.
Professional soccer.
Yeah, there was. They had zero infrastructure for any of the stuff. They had no stadiums. They didn't have a team.
So the funny part is,
unlike England, where they have soccer-specific stadiums,
everywhere,
transportation, hotel rooms, hotel everything already there, and it hasn't been a World Cup there since 1966.
Yeah.
What do we do? Oh, right, because Qatar paid for it. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
We got an inside man. Jose is going to provide us live updates from Doha. Did I say that right? Starting Monday. Doha? Yeah. Doha. That's our man on the inside. We'll just you can pay for that phone call bill though, right, Craig?
Yeah.
We Are Soccer's flush with money. We can definitely accept all those.
We have more money than the Qatari World Cup build going at you.
We do.
We actually have a couple of people part of the We Are Soccer group. We'll call it Team We Are Soccer heading out to Qatar. A good friend of mine.
Let me know how those shipping containers work.
Trevor Hurd is heading out there, and I will be asking him for pictures and updates to be posted to the Facebook group. So keep your eye there. As you guys can see, we've got.
Is Glenn going?
FIFA was nice and Glenn. FIFA was nice enough to give us the World Cup here, so we're going to let it sit here. It's very real. So
that's the real one, right?
The absolute real one. All right. We already mentioned the first game is on Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. It is Qatar versus Ecuador. There will be, beforehand, there will be a big ceremony, right? Qatar will put a lot of money into that, and the sheiks will be there and all that good stuff, right? Again, not the most sexy of games, but Qatar versus Ecuador is going to be the first one. It'll be one of the most watched right off the bat. Nate, you had your hand up at the kids' table. Is there something you want to say there?
New term I learned from the podcast that leads right into the opening ceremony. It's called sports washing.
Sports washing.
Oh, yeah.
Sports washing. And this has gone on apparently since German Nazi era time, where you put on a huge event to highlight and showcase how great your country is, while washing away all the cool and atrocities that you've done. And I say cool very sarcastically.
So is that what every Olympic is sports washing?
That's every when a country that has huge human rights issues wins a massive global sporting event that they then can use and parlay to say, forget about how we put and do this or do that or or done this and done that, and look at our cool shiny shit over here.
Yeah.
Look at this shiny shit, and fireworks, and lights, and shiny shit.
Yep.
Aren't we awesome? Don't you love us?
Yeah,
love
everyone loved
us.
the Beijing Olympic one. The sports.
It's been going on for years.
It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
They flat out
it's-
brought up
it's a
when what was it? Germany hosted the whatever Olympics it was going on in World War II.
Yeah.
Like they were like, this has gone on for quite some time.
Centuries.
Centuries. Sports washing.
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 The Monday, so 8 days away from now, brings some very, very interesting games.
Yes.
8 a.m. Eastern Time, England versus Iran.
Ooh.
It's gonna be a good game.
That's going to be a good game. And then right after that, at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, Senegal versus the Netherlands. It's
gonna be a great
that is
game.
actually
That's
going to be a
Mane
really
is
good
in the
game.
roster.
That's gonna.
Mane is on the roster.
Yeah.
He is injured.
Have you checked out the Senegal roster? The Senegal roster is actually. Let me pull
They
it
got
up.
some decent players,
and
man.
let me continue talking while I continue pulling this up, so that way
African
people
Cup of
don't
Nations winners,
realize
by
I'm
the way.
struggling.
Yes.
But they actually have a solid, impressive roster. When you boil it down, and I actually pointed that out to someone, and I was like, "Yeah, Senegal, I think could win this group," and they're like, "Senegal could win this group," and I'm like, "Yeah, look at their players. You got." Mendy from Chelsea, who's a fantastic goalkeeper, right?
Yeah.
Koulibaly from Chelsea. You got Diallo, who I know from Leipzig, not personally, but I watch him, from Leipzig, who's solid. You got Sadio Mane, who apparently is going to be there, who's probably going to be playing.
Yeah.
You got Sarr from Tottenham. You got the other Sarr from Watford. So they got, Jackson from Villarreal, Dieng from Marseille. You got some solid players mixed in with some other, decent players that know how to play.
Yep.
They're going to be interesting to watch. I wouldn't count them out. I could definitely see them in Netherlands popping out of that group easily.
Yeah, and I mean, that is going to be a really good game, to be honest. I mean, you got two contrasting styles right there. So that is going to be a good game. The third game on that Monday, the fourth game of the World Cup officially, brings USA versus Wales at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Yeah. We're all very much interested in watching how the U.S. men's national team does. And Greg Berhalter with his selection, did he get it right? Because there are a lot of people who think he got it wrong. Yeah. So we'll talk a little bit about that. You boys want to jump in now?
I didn't know if we were going to talk Steffen right now or we were going to wait a minute.
No, that's not it. I'm mentioning, since Kellen Acosta played with Gareth Bale, do you think he has a better mindset of if Gareth does play, and we know what Gareth can do in big matches, that there's kind of a little, I know what he's going to do. There's more of kind of a scouting report on Gareth Bale now.
I tell you what, Gareth Bale might not have played very much for LAFC this past season, but when he went and played for Wales over the last 6 to 8 months, he played pretty much 90 minutes in every game and was one of the star men, along with Aaron Ramsey. He might be, we'll say, a little washed up, and everybody wants to see, hey, does he bring his golf clubs, right? The guy can still ball, man. He can still play. So I think if anybody, USA-wise, is taking Wales lightly because they've got someone like Gareth Bale in their squad, think again. That man and his speed his smarts can hurt you. Wales... I'm not sure what they're ranked FIFA-wise, not that we really give a shit about FIFA rankings that much, but they're a good squad, man. A lot of those players come out of EPL and the EFL, the championship in England. Yep. So this is not going to be an easy match right off the bat.
They're 19th. They're ranked 19th.
They're top 20. Yeah.
They're top 20.
So, again, this group with England, Iran, Wales, and USA, in my opinion, is probably the group of death.
If you look at the rankings and what they are, they are the group of death. I mean, it's all you have to go off.
It's all adjusted now because everyone's hurt now. It's like, everyone's, but some of these squads are bringing these B team players, these secondary guys are still really good though.
But you can't take, in this, you look at all these World Cup squads, you can't take anyone lightly. I don't think there is an easy team to play.
No.
I don't care who
there never
it is.
is in a World Cup.
No.
It doesn't matter if they're ranked 50 or whatever they just got in. They're going to be tough.
They're there for a reason.
Teams that sit in can get you on the counter. And you really have to work the ball around.
With the exception of South Africa, that 1 year. Outside of that.
I'm just saying, the teams that sit in, though, it's not easy to play.
No, it's not.
It's actually, Nate, before we go forward, I want to mention the World Cup in South Africa, they played with a new ball, and something the Jubilani ball, yeah. There's something we all learned about that ball was there was no panels. It was like 2 panels, so the seams on the ball were very minimal. So the guys who play at the top level in all the big leagues, right? They would go to cross this ball, and you all know if you play, you cross a ball and it has a little curve because those panels catch the air and the ball curls. The Jubilani ended up just going dead straight the whole time. So none of these players could cross a ball properly. And then when you're waiting in the box for a ball, it's unlike any ball that's ever flighted into you that you've played with your entire life. And nobody practiced with this ball before the World Cup. Everybody learned a hell of a lesson.
But they liked it from the free kick standpoint because if you knuckled it, it kind of went everywhere.
It knuckled everywhere. No one knew how to play with the damn ball, and I think it ruined the World Cup, to be honest.
Well, I think it had the most goals. I believe that World Cup had the most goals in a World Cup because of that. And they equated it to the ball because of the way it's designed, the way it moved, and how light it was.
So obviously we learned a lot from that, but I will say Qatar 2022, in my opinion, we've all been used to watching. We're now having to take our brain and go, all right, stop domestic leagues, stop EPL, stop MLS, stop La Liga, stop Bundesliga, stop Serie A, where there's a lot of goals, right? We've watched a lot of games this weekend in the past couple of weeks, 4-1, 3-1, 4-2, 6-0, whatever it is, that's gone away. These coaches, the U.S. men's national team, the national team coaches, they're focusing on sitting in and not getting exposed and letting balls in the back of the net getting scored on. They're going to focus on defense. You're going to see a lot less teams coming out and going at each other. It's going to be very controlled, sitting in, more defensive-minded. And I think you're going to see a lot of 1-1, 2-1, 1-0 games in this World Cup because it's going to be more focused on defense.
I want open like MLS. Darn it. I want up and down, back and forth, goals galore, just like MLS.
I think
they can't do this to me.
You will start to see that in around the game, around the group stage, the third game in the group stage, when teams need to come out and score goals. A team needs to win by 2 or needs to win. Those teams will then come out and start to play.
You got to risk it to get the biscuit, Craig. You got to risk it to get the biscuit, buddy.
I get it, but the
biscuits
first game,
yes,
you
win biscuits if you get the World Cup.
Playing, it's going to be low scoring. So Wales, USA. You're looking at maybe a 1-0, 1-1, 2-1 type game. And even England versus Iran, everybody, this game happened 6 or 12 months ago. People are going, England will win 3-0. In the World Cup, it's going to be probably a 1-0 or a 2-0 type game at most because England aren't going to come out and leave themselves exposed. So just a heads up, the warning for all the the fans out there. Probably a little low scoring in the first round.
Germany will score 4 goals.
Yeah. Germany will score
I think the
goals.
United States will sit in against England.
Yeah, no, everyone sits in because the statistical number of if you lose your first match is immense.
Correct.
Like
if you lose your first, say that again, Nate.
The statistical number, and I can't remember it offhand, but I heard it in like the last World Cup. You lose your first match, you are in such a hole. It's not even funny. So the likelihood of you getting out of your group if you lay an egg your first match or just lose your first match is the odds are so stacked against you. It's not even funny.
So are you saying that the teams are going to come out and try to score and win, or are they going to sit in and counter and then?
No, that's where you go.
The defensive block.
Yeah, that's where you go. Your sit-ins, and that's why there's a lot of ties coming out of that very first game.
Right.
And if you don't need to win, you don't because if everyone's 1-1 in your group, you're still sitting fine.
Yeah,
you don't want to be the team that loses and gives up a 1 point or 3 points there, and then you're digging. Then the next game is a must-win,
right?
Because there's only 3 games.
Yep. Yeah.
You only play 3, maximum 9 points.
There's a lot of work to do.
So,
All right, let's jump in. Let's actually look. I'm going to bring up and try to put up the some of the World Cup squads here. Here's the U.S. men's national team World Cup roster. Brooks and I did a video this past week on this roster. One
very
notable
good video, by the way.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Nate. One notable omission, which we all talked about as soon as the rumor came out the day before the World Cup roster was released, Zack Steffen. He's been a mainstay on this roster for qualifying for the last 2, 3, 4 years. And why is he not on this roster? How did Greg Berhalter leave him off? Well, rumors came out this week that Greg Berhalter called him, said, you're in the squad, but you're not my starter. Matt Turner is. Zack Steffen turned around and said, I don't want to be in the squad. That's a rumor. We don't have anything confirmed. But
I could 100% see that being true. And I almost don't blame him if you look at what happened.
should you not just be happy to be in the squad and then try to earn it back?
Nope.
I mean, because because Matt Turner is coming in with a small injury. He has missed the last game or two for Arsenal that he could have played. So I mean,
first thing, goalkeeper is a different position where you should be named. You're named the starter. You know who the starter is.
Yeah.
So the biggest knock. What was the biggest knock on Zack Steffen? Let's put away beliefs on whether or not guys
you want
are better.
me to? Because I've seen him play live and I've seen him play for a long time.
Okay, let's talk about. I'm going to take your personal opinion out of it. He was a starter, right, all through qualification, correct?
No,
Unless he was injured.
Turner started towards the end.
When he was injured.
No, Nate is 100% correct.
When he was
the starter unless injured. He went down with a back injury, which allowed Matt Turner to come in and play.
And was he playing full-time at that time?
He was not. He was the backup at Man City.
And what was the biggest knock on him? You need to play full-time, right?
Yes.
And what did he do this year? He went and played. He went and got a loan. And he's been playing full-time for Middlesbrough, right?
But how long did it take him to get that loan? When he
Doesn't
probably
matter.
done it a few years ago.
He's been playing. But he still was starting.
And I know you have some stats you're going to read off for us
real
quick.
But the point is, he still was starting, even though he was off the bench for City. Agreed?
He would play in cup games.
He could have played in cup games for City now. And the biggest criticism was you need to start. He win it. So he forgone playing for a team where he would win silverware if he was sitting with them to then be a starter for the national team. And his payment for that is you're still not our starter. For a guy who's doing the same thing he was doing for Arsenal. Because he ain't starting, is he?
No, he's playing in cup games.
No, but Steffen could have played in cup games.
The problem with Turner, though, is he had no choice that New England were going to sell him to Arsenal.
I understand that, but
Steffen had a choice, and he put himself in this situation to be a backup at City. He put himself in that situation. He thought the grass was going to be greener on the other side. It wasn't.
But he was
and he
still
should have went
as a
somewhere where he
backup.
was going to start.
As a backup, despite your belief on that, as a backup for City, he was still being called in as a starter, was he not?
Yes.
But
that's before Turner then came along, and Sean Johnson should have gotten
And then, hold on. Then Turner went to Arsenal to do what? Start or be a backup?
He's a backup.
Okay, and so you're going to now say, hey, you need to become a starter. Okay, boss, I'll go be a starter now. Hey, look, I'm a starter now.
But who was playing more as a starter? Who was more in a starting role between Steffen and Turner when Steffen went over to England?
Steffen he's doing the same thing.
Because he's been over what, 3 years? Has he been there 3 years?
He's doing the same thing.
I agree 100%
So let's run down some.
But
Let's run down some stats just real quick. Between I put Sean Johnson and because Turner doesn't have any stats because he hasn't played any league games.
no, but he has played in.
But
Did you
when
put
you
his
look at
MLS?
stats,
Did you put his MLS
nope,
stats?
because
in?
I was looking at this year. Because
That
again,
is this year.
This year before the season started. Because again, Turner is not a starter.
But Turner's had shutouts in Europe when Arsenal have gone to play in
And
Europe.
so is Steffen. He had
Cup.
4 shutouts. And guess what? Turner plays against a better back line with Arsenal. Does he not?
Okay.
So you can't compare a guy sitting on the bench to a guy playing 17 league
100%
matches.
get it.
So I took Turner right out of the conversation when
here's
looking
my
at stats.
knock. Here's where I think Greg Berhalter went with this.
Okay.
The last big game that Zack Steffen played in, we'll call it big game.
Mm-hmm.
April of 2022,
right?
Man City versus Liverpool, FA Cup final.
Okay.
He made a horrendous mistake and gave the ball away and let in a goal. And then he let a ball in near post as well. Come the big game, he makes mistakes.
Did he ever make that mistake playing for the U.S.?
Yes,
he has.
He's made a ton of mistakes.
He made a
mistake. Misjudging balls.
He has made mistakes in big games.
He has done this since he's been playing in college. When I watched him at Maryland,
I do think this is what led.
You guys understand he has better stats right now.
I don't care what stats he has. It's what does he do in the game in big moments.
He does have better stats, and I 100% agree with you. But based on form and based on the last 12 months worth of work and who you've had as your starter for the finishing up of qualifying, I think Matt Turner in my opinion, is the starter. But I 100% agree. With you, Nate, but I just think Zack Steffen is prone to mistakes and just can't get his head out of his ass sometimes.
You're a backup goalkeeper for one of the best teams in the world, guaranteed to win a trophy if you stay with them. You're told you need to become a starter. You go and become a starter, and then you're told to fuck off at the end of the day that you're not the starter now after you were the starter riding a bench.
That's
you want to know what my reply?
Berhalter had him at Columbus, and he's playing.
You want to know
favorites.
my reply? Then that's
favorites.
Greg Berhalter. Again, this is Greg Berhalter's fault because then he should have had a more open competition all through qualification.
But look at it. Guzan got hurt at Atlanta United, so he wasn't going to be brought in. If he wasn't hurt, he would probably be on this team going to Qatar. I bet he'd be one of the three. No doubt about that one.
So, okay.
Sean Johnson has been in the mix, and he's been in the mix for a very long time. But Turner kind of came out of nowhere, and when he was playing well for New England in the 2021 season.
Is doing the same thing this year that Steffen was criticized for last year.
But you have to look through the qualification all the last 4 years, and where Zack Steffen was the guy in the beginning.
Yeah.
But then all these other guys came in, and then, he wasn't playing. He got hurt. He was a favorite of Greg Berhalter's because he's been coaching him in Columbus, and he was, you can't play favorites. When you do international soccer, you cannot play favorites as a coach.
So hold on. I agree with that statement. Yeah. And I agree with the fact that he played favorites with Steffen, put it in the situation.
Yes.
All I'm saying
and he told Zach, you need to go overseas.
All I'm saying.
And that was... I don't know how that was handled.
All I'm saying is, if I was Zack Steffen, under the circumstances, I'd be fucking pissed.
I would.
And I would have told him, no, I'm not going to just do
I would have been like, I'm going to stay in MLS.
You screwed me.
I would have stayed in MLS.
Under the circumstances, he has a legitimate point.
Yep.
He went the biggest
What
gripe
about Ricardo
against
Pepi?
him. Hold on. The biggest gripe against Steffen was he wasn't a starter and he wasn't getting consistent minutes. He moved away and did that. And he's playing very well. 100% get it. All right, now.
Oh, by the way.
Now, is he not being the most selfish person ever by not helping your team?
No.
You could actually be the starter if Matt Turner comes in still injured. You could be the starter. But now this is rumors. This is hearsay. Yeah. We don't know if he legitimately said, I don't want in this squad. We do not know that. We are guessing. He has not come out and said it himself. But if he did, I'm sorry, that is someone I do not want in my squad. Hey, we've picked another starter, but we want you to come along. And now you say no? That's not someone I want on my team at all. You're not willing to help the team. That is not a team player. This is a team sport.
I know. I'd be pretty pissed off if I was playing for one of the best teams in the world, got a loan to get minutes in order to be a starter for my national team, then told that it's gone now for a guy who's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I'd be pretty pissed.
To me, he
should be pissed.
In that situation.
Every professional wants to start.
Yes.
Hell, we as non-professionals, as older players play on a team and we don't start, we still get pissed. I get it, 100% get it. But this is the World Cup. This is the pinnacle of the sport. You don't want to help your country. You don't want to help your country try to win in advance.
This has happened.
I'm calling selfish and bullshit.
This has happened.
He should never touch this. He should never wear the Stars and Stripes again.
Zack Steffen put himself in that situation, and Berhalter did put him in that situation too. You have to go to Europe to play. Sometimes, like I said, the grass ain't greener on the other side. He should have stayed in the Bundesliga, but when he wasn't going to get to a league where he was going to be a starter from day one after Columbus, when he had some good years at Columbus, he should have stuck in MLS. If he wanted to go another team, he could have stuck to another team. He had to play, and he needed minutes. For a keeper, you have to do that.
And he went and got his minutes in Middlesbrough this year to do that.
That was how long's this cycle been going? 4 years.
But if you don't know what the background conversation was. You don't know if he was
4 years.
Told
this has been going on, and finally he's there for 2, and then he finally gets out on loan.
I would totally agree with you if they took someone.
Why did you wait till this year to ask for a loan,
Brooks? I would totally agree with you if they took someone who and they're going to start someone. If they start Sean Johnson, then Okay.
Sean Johnson deserves every right to start and battle for that
Even though
job for
Stefan
Max
has
Scherzer.
better numbers than him.
No, thank you.
It doesn't
I would like
matter.
a guy who's
Steph-
been
His
in
save,
big games
Stefan
like
has a
that.
better save percentage.
What has Sean Johnson done the last 2 years for New York City FC?
He's been great in MLS, and Zack
Doesn't
Steffen
matter.
has
He
been
won games and
Zack
he put
Steffen-
NYCFC in situations and came up in big moments. Everything you need
Sean
for the
Johnson
World Cup.
in the MLS, 67% save percentage. Stefan, which I believe, unless someone would like to correct me, the English Championship is a little bit harder than the MLS, 70%.
So what? He played this year? That's it.
Goals,
Like
goals
like,
per game.
for like
games.
3 months compared to a whole body of work of Sean Johnson.
Zack Steffen has had more shots faced at him than Sean Johnson.
I will say, if I had my choice, it's Turner 1, Steffen 2, Sean Johnson, and then maybe Horvath. But Horvath made a move. He went to Luton, and he's doing well over there as well.
Yeah.
We really don't know if this is what happened. We really don't know if Greg Berhalter called Zack Steffen in,
What happened
and
with
he
Pepe?
said no, or if we just said no. Anyway,
Now he's
I
scoring
do want to
goals.
get to some of the other squads that have been called in this week. So here we got the U.S. men's national team. We've done that one a little bit. Nate, you wanted to talk about the France squad, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that. Here is the French squad, led by Hugo Lloris. Hugo Lloris, the Tottenham goalkeeper, who I think could be the worst goalkeeper in this entire tournament, and I don't think he'll be at Tottenham next year, by the way. But Nate, go ahead. What was?
So there's two players that I
Yep.
think were omitted. So firstly, the
Please.
France squad is great looking.
Oh,
Don't get me
absolutely.
wrong. But
They're good.
when I look at the squad, there's two players that are kind of a head scratcher of why you didn't take, and maybe you should have took one guy. Left these two guys out and took these two guys. So Thuram, who is being targeted right now by many Premier League sides as loan move forward, who is high on the Bundesliga goal scoring charts, who is younger, agile, basically same size and stature as a one Olivier Giroud. And to me, I think you did kind of a disservice taking Olivier Giroud over Marcus Thuram, who could have provided a lot more for you and is a lot more athletic, younger, faster, and all that.
I'm going to counter that with Olivier Giroud.
Giroud.
He, a very senior player,
Yep.
can get the job done.
Understood.
Has scored goals at every single level.
Yeah.
And you put him on the field for the last 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, he will find a way to score.
Ooh, but
the
I
man
argue-
is a winner
I
and
argue,
a goal scorer.
I argue that Marcus Thuram does the same, and he's younger, and he's faster and more athletic.
I think the
You're going to go with the
experience
younger
is where
argument
they
all
were
the time
going
because
for.
that's what you believe in.
Yeah. But when I look at the squad, though, if I'm looking for goals, I'm going to look for, if I'm looking for that talisman to come in, I'm looking at Benzema.
Benzema is absolutely your number one talisman. And
So,
then you've got Nkunku
so
and
when I look at
Dembele.
this list, and again, when I look at this list, I don't see Olivier Giroud as that starter. I don't see really Benzema maybe depending on the match, right? And I see
Why wouldn't
Benzema.
you start Benzema?
I mean,
Benzema
it
has
just
to start.
depends.
he has to start.
He
Doesn't
has
have to.
had a small injury in the last month and a half, but Benzema is absolutely
On the
100%
form
your
he's
starter.
in?
I mean, with
Yeah.
Dembele,
Benzema
Mbappe
is
and Coleman,
absolutely the number
I could
one
see-
starter for sure.
But-
But when you need a goal in
mean,
the
they're
last
playing
10 or
4-3-3.
15 minutes,
That's what they're gonna
you
play.
put Giroud up top and he will find a way. The man is a winner and knows
Not
how
a
to score.
So
3-4-3.
He's got the
honestly,
experience.
I would have took Thuram over Giroud.
Okay. Who was
I
the
would-
other player you were mentioning?
So this is more of a I can kind of understand, but you got Griezmann on there, and I would have probably said goodbye to Griezmann and got Dembele from Leverkusen. Now
Okay.
I look at the numbers between the two. Actually, Dembele has played more matches, more minutes, has scored more goals, had more expected assists, and created more chances than Griezmann. And I get kind of Leverkusen has struggled, but they should have looked at his form last year too. And he was brought in several times. So Thuram, you can make the argument that he was never brought in. He was brought in. He was actually brought in a few times. And why they didn't actually, I would have went with him over Griezmann a bit.
Okay. Well, one notable admission on this France World Cup team is Raphael Varane, who's injured at the moment. Injured a couple of weeks ago, but they take him. Another player who a team has taken who is injured, and they're hoping, keeping their fingers crossed, that he can actually get healthy and give some minutes. Another injured player. Maybe he's a locker room guy. I don't know.
I think he's a locker room guy because when I look at your center backs here, I don't see him starting.
I tell you, absolutely. You don't see him starting in here? What, Saliba's going to start? And I think Varane...
Up McKenna and Hernandez are going to start. Or up McKenna and... who is it?
Konate?
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, either way, he might be But I will say the one thing about Rafael Varane, he has made the center backs from Manchester United look really good. Without him, I think Lisandro Martinez and Lindelof look lost.
Mm-hmm. He's a leader.
And when Varane is in there, he controls everything and he really sets the tone. So maybe they're just hoping he can get healthy and get in. Nate, I do want to jump. I want to get your thoughts on the Germany.
Perfect squad. I'm a little confused though too, because my Germany jersey, as all can say and see, has 4 stars, and I noticed that yours doesn't.
Well, in about a month, my jersey will have a 2nd star.
No, it won't.
Yes, Come on, it will, because guess what? It's coming home.
It's
coming home.
Not with that bullshit.
Actually, I'm going to take this home
Okay,
tonight.
hold on. You're going to sit there and honestly sit here and tell me that's a good squad. That's the best squad. There's no controversy
I
there.
think on the Facebook page, you were pretty upset.
You were pissed.
Yeah.
And I can tell you right now, I'm looking at Germany squad, and I don't know who they could have took that's better, and I think they are a very silent and underrated squad right now with Hansi Flick running it. I think they're going to be a lot better.
I do want to look at the German squad here. So
that
is a really tough squad right there. And as we talked about, Mario Götze is back. Mm-hmm. 2014 World Cup final goal scorer. Mm-hmm. He is back. This is a very good squad. Thomas Muller's in there. Leroy Sané's in there. Mukoko, they've got some players, man.
2 names.
Give me those.
This
two
is where you're gonna laugh at me, the younger guys, because I always but there's something.
I'm
there,
not gonna
right?
laugh at you, but like
these
guys are legit should be in there.
There
are some teams where they should be in there, and there's some where they shouldn't.
Adi Meni is fantastic, and he just got promoted up to higher end football, and his form and pace is amazing. Mukoko, same thing, has been fantastic. He's
been with the first team at Dortmund for a few years, since he was like 16.
Yep. But Adi Meni is that he just slotted in there, and he's going to be. I think he's going to be a stud. Now, here's the controversy, though, because if you've been looking at the way Kevin Trapp has been playing over Neuer, I think Trapp's actually your better goalkeeper than Michael Neuer. I really do.
Isn't it?
He had Frankfurt. He is the reason why Frankfurt won the Europa.
You can't not start Neuer.
That's the problem. You're going to go with him. But I think Trapp's a better goalkeeper.
Let me ask you a question.
3 solid goalkeepers.
You
could rotate them and play them each one in the group stage.
I truly think Kevin Trapp is the better out of all of them. If you look at the team, his back line that he has to work with.
Yeah, he's had to make big saves.
He makes great saves.
Let me ask you something, because one notable omission from this that I don't know, maybe he retired from international football, maybe he just didn't want to play, but Toni Kroos?
Kroos?
Yeah, what? Is he gone? He just plays for Real Madrid. The center midfielder.
Oh, no. Yeah, he said he was done. He did
officially say he was done.
He said he was done.
That's a tough midfield.
Because that is a really good midfield player for years.
So there was rumors that they wanted him to come back, and he just declined.
Yeah. Okay.
And so that I think if he didn't sign off, he probably would be going instead of Mario Götze, to be honest with you. But he did. And the one thing about all these players, and especially this week, all these guys are in form for clubs. Yeah. I mean, they're all in form. They're all scoring. They're all doing very well. I believe Sané had a goal. Gnabry had an assist. Fulrig had a goal. I know Julian Brennan had a fantastic trap turn and shot. Mm-hmm. All these guys are in phenomenal form right now for their clubs. I really do think this is
This is one of the top 5 teams in the tournament right now that can walk away with it.
And a quiet team because they don't have that glaring name that shoots out at you like, oh, look at this guy here.
The typical German team has always been very steady eddies, and they have 1 or 2 superstars, but they're nothing like they don't need to rely on those 2 guys.
Yep.
They don't. It's amazing.
And there's not a single person on here that I'd go, man, you should have maybe took this guy over that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or one player that goes down injured, you go, tournament's done. We're not going to be able to win it without him, right? I agree. Let's look at some squads where they do have players who they really depend on. So here's Portugal.
I like Portugal's team.
Portugal's got a good team, but they really do depend on Fernandes in the middle there. So Bernardo Silva, João Mario, Ronaldo. I don't think he starts. He can't start. There's no way he starts. Right?
I wouldn't start him.
But how pissed off is he going to be? How many times are we going to see the camera on him with a crybaby face sitting on the bench? But I don't think you can start him.
Does Pepe start?
It's so
Not old men in this.
Look at that back line: João Cancelo, Diego Dalot, Pepe, Ruben Diaz. I mean, Pereira, Silva, Mendes. Oh my God, that
Guerrero is solid.
I tell you what, that is a hell of a back line, and their midfield is really good as well. Paulinho, Neves, Fernandes, Nunes, Silva, João Mario. They have a very good team, a really, really good team. And I don't think Ronaldo gets into this one. All right, here is another team that really depends on their superstar, Argentina. Messi, obviously, Lionel Messi, the GOAT. He goes down, and you know they're not going to have a chance here. But they do have a solid team.
They have a solid team. He can score at
Dybala's a good player.
Mm-hmm.
Angel Di Maria, I think he said this will be his last World Cup. He's a good player. Alex McAllister, the Brighton midfielder forward, he scored today. Palacios, Paredes, they have some really good players. But again, I think the heart and soul of this Argentinian team is obviously Lionel Messi.
The biggest problem is that Argentina is always going to have is the physicality and now even the heat that this cup's going to.
Sure.
That's the question of if they can match it.
For a South American team, it's usually pretty
but these guys don't play in South America.
All these guys play in Europe, right?
Yeah.
Maybe most of them. Well, I think
maybe years ago they played in South America.
Right now, a lot of people are picking Argentina to make it to the final.
Everyone picks Argentina and Brazil to make the final because that's like the safe bet, and that's when I put my bets in, I will put $5 on them.
This is the year that they could actually get it done.
Brazil
because they've been unbeaten for 30 some odd games.
But look at Brazil.
And they have played good teams.
Look at Brazil. Brazil has a solid squad too.
Yeah, they really
you know
do.
What I mean? It's so hard to call one of these things.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Here's another good solid squad. Belgium. I mean, Courtois in the back, Alderweireld, Vertonghen back there, an old head. This is another solid good. De Bruyne leading the middle there, De Donker. This is another Axel Witsel, Mertens, Trossard, Batshuayi, Lukaku, Eden Hazard. This is another. Again, this could be the. I hate to say it, but this has been the dark horse for the last 2 World Cups.
I wish
and it
Thorgan
might be past their.
this
This
team.
is absolutely their last chance. If Belgium don't get it done in Qatar, I don't think they'll ever win a World Cup. This is their last chance, and I don't think they get it done. To be honest,
Am I the only one who likes Croatia?
Croatia?
Yeah.
A lot of people do.
I don't know. They're old. That is an old team. Old team.
They got some young guys sprinkled in with some of those old guys. You're just looking to the old guys. Their wing backs are probably some of the youngest, fastest guys. Baron Sosa, who plays for Stuttgart, is one of the assist
good
leaders
Lord.
in
Everything
Germany.
leads back.
Okay, and he's only 24. Gravidal, who plays for Leipzig, is only 20, and he plays on the wing too.
Modric, Petrovic.
They got some
old
guys
will
there.
start.
Kremik is young, who plays for Hoffenheim. He's actually 31, but some of these guys they didn't lose in qualification.
They got a good squad. Do you
good.
think they go far though? Do they do what they did in the last World Cup?
So I think they get out of the group. I think they get out of the group with Canada, Morocco, and Belgium.
But then they'll end up losing in the knockout rounds.
Canada is a dark horse to me. They can do some damage and upset some.
Only if Alphonso Davies can play.
I think Canada's going to get exposed
as a wingback. You're going to say you're relying on a wingback.
Yeah,
I think
don't.
Canada's going to get exposed.
Speaking of a team,
did really well.
Speaking of a team that'll probably get knocked out.
They're in a hard group
Early and knocked out in the knockout rounds. England. I am not particularly happy with England's squad. I think some omissions of Tammy Abraham and Ivan Toney.
Yeah.
I think those are 2 guys who can score goals and do well. I'm a little upset that they're not in here. But overall, it's not a bad squad. Harry Kane seems to score a goal every week. Scored another goal today or yesterday, so he will do all right. Jude Bellingham, He's been playing well. Conor Gallagher's been playing well. Mason Mount
Here's what's
has
gonna
been
drive
playing
me
well.
nuts.
Calvin Phillips hasn't played at all. He's
Here's-
been injured and he's sitting on the bench, and he still somehow makes this team,
Here's what's
which
gonna-
I don't get it.
Here's what's going to piss me off and why I can't root for England. Because they're
Why
going
is
to
that?
bench. They're going to bench Jude Bellingham, and he deserves to start over those guys. Some of those guys out there.
I don't know, man.
If they don't start
you
Jude Bellingham, they're out of their
I
goddamn
don't know.
mind.
I don't know.
He's been lighting up that league.
Yeah.
In the Bundesliga, he is going to get a huge money transfer to one of the top 4 clubs, and he's going to then walk into the Premier League, and he's going to be fantastic.
All right, well, we'll continue talking about some of the squads and the World Cup. We also have to touch base with Team of the Week. We will look at the EPL standings as they have now paused. We'll look at the Bundesliga standings as they've paused. We've got a couple other things we're going to jump in and we're going to have some fun. But for now, guys, we need to do a little refresh on our drinks. And you guys, everybody should do the same. Get a little refresher, get a little beer, get some snacks. And we will be back in a couple of minutes on the other side. All right, guys, welcome back. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Coming up this side of the break, hopefully you all got a nice little drink, got some beer. I know Mike has he's drinking beer, I think. Coming up this side, we're going to talk Team of the Week. We're going to do Facebook contributors, Team WAS, Team We Are Soccer, people who've contributed and done a really good job in the Facebook group. We're going to call you guys out and say a big thank you. We're going to do EPL standings, Bundesliga standings. We'll jump back to the World Cup, and we'll see how much time we have left, and maybe do some other fun stuff. All right, this week on the We Are Soccer and Michigan Soccer Central Team of the Week, we have the Heartland 2010 Girls Academy. This team, coached by Dan Price, two-time State Cup champions. Look at the medals. Look at that trophy. These girls are winners. This is this week's We Are Soccer and Michigan Soccer Central Team of the Week, the Heartland 2010 Girls Academy team. Well done, girls, and congratulations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just one thing to note is, so obviously some clubs have different branches. This is a branch of the Liverpool FC International Academy in Michigan, which is centrally based in like Bloomfield Hills area. Mm-hmm. This Heartland team is from that branch. That's the first one to qualify for National League from that branch. So congrats, girls.
Very nice. Congratulations, girl. Very well done. All right, I do want to say also a big congratulations to the Western Michigan Men's University team as they won yesterday, becoming the 2022 MAC Tournament champions. Congratulations. That team is really good. They won some big games this year, and they are the 2022 MAC champions. So congratulations to Western Michigan. Some fine ballers out there.
Yes.
All right. If you are looking to have your team be the Team of the Week, excuse me, nominate them. Nominate them through any of the social channels. Send it to the We Are Soccer channel. Send it to the Michigan Soccer Central channels. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Just tag us, DM us, send us, let us know who you think should be the Team of the Week. We discuss it internally, and then we pick a winner every week. All right, I want to give a big shout out to some of our contributors. Let me see if I can find my list here. I had them all written down. Nice guys. Here we go. Big thank you to Team WAS. Team We Are Soccer. These guys every day make the group go round. Some of them are admins because they've done such a good job cleaning out the junk, cleaning out the bad comments, adding posts, doing a really good job. Brooks and Nate do a very good job as well on the We Are Soccer Facebook group, and I appreciate them. But here's some other guys who are also doing a good job. Mike B. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. D. Junior Hobley, thank you. Yassine Benchrama, thank you. Dan Wolka, and Kirk Johnson. Boys, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. I was hoping to have a nice little graphic made up, having your faces on here. Ran out of time. Too much soccer this weekend for me to watch, so did not get to that. Apologies. All right, let's jump in and talk about the EPL this weekend. It came to a close. A lot of players pulling up injured or just trying not to get injured and pulling out of tackles because the World Cup starts in 7 days, as we've talked about. But this weekend in the EPL, it started out with a real bang. Man City downed at home by 2-1 to Brentford. Ivan Toney scoring 2 goals. I'm telling you, Ivan Toney should have been on that plane for England going to Qatar. But Man City could not find a way through. Holland played. They could not find a way through that Brentford defense, and they win 2-1. Well done, Brentford, getting the job done. That is their first away win of the season. I don't think Brentford would have circled that game as being their first away win of the season, but well done. Bournemouth 3, Everton 0. Frank Lampard, start updating that resume, buddy. This could be the end of the road for you. There is now a break for a month coming up. Everton will reassess your position. I think you are out. Ralph Hasenhüttl, former Southampton manager, is now on the market. He, I think, will find a job during this break. Nate?
Stuttgart. He's Austrian.
I mean, I would.
Let's go.
Would you not want him? Would you want him there? I mean, I would. He's a
well.
good
We'll
coach.
get into it. I have a theory of what's going on in Stuttgart and why they haven't named anything,
Okay.
but we'll get into it. But no, I mean, there's an opening.
Yeah.
He's Austrian. Come home.
Columbus Crew.
But
They're looking for a coach.
I'm not very good at
Does
geography.
he play young players?
Well, hold on.
I'm not very good at. Hold on.
Yes.
I'm not very good at
Ralph Hasenhüttl's
geography.
good, but Frank Lampard's about to become available. Columbus.
So
Would you
anyways-
take him for the Columbus Crew?
So
Would you
anyways,
take him
back
for?
to
No?
back to Ralph.
No,
Anyways,
I don't think he's going to play enough young players, so I don't know. He'll be like, the academy shit. We don't want any players. Like, that'd be Frank Lampard.
Brooks,
Yeah.
ignore ridiculous comments.
Ah.
Anyways, so I'm not a geography major, but I think Stuttgart's closer to Austria than Columbus. I don't know.
It
Trade
is.
wins. Trade wins.
Yeah.
Anywho.
All right.
No, we're not taking your shit, coach. Get him out of here.
Not mine.
Whatever.
Trust me. Oh yeah, Steven Gerrard.
Trust me, he's not mine. Trust me.
Yeah, Steven Gerrard's available as well. But Frank Lampard, update that resume because you lost 3-0 and you're on a slide, and I do not think it's going to work out well for you there, buddy. Liverpool 3, Southampton 1. Southampton parted ways with Ralph Hasenhüttl, as we just talked about. They do have a new manager there now. Nottingham Forest 1, Crystal Palace 0. Nottingham Forest get 3 very much needed points for them. I did not see Crystal Palace losing this game. They've had quietly having a pretty good season under Patrick Vieira, but lose this one as the last game before the break. Tottenham 4, Leeds 3. Jesse Marsh. This was a hell of a game. Back and forth, yellow cards all over the place. Tyler Adams, U.S. men's national team player, sent off in the 87th minute. Second bookable offense. Didn't even have to see it. As soon as he did it, put his head down, walked off the field. He knew he was getting that red card. Harry Kane scores. But this
Jesse Marsh split his pants. That's all I want to know.
No, he did not. No, he did not.
That's
yet.
the only news I care about.
Not yet.
Pants watch continues.
Dun, dun, dun.
But this is a loss for Leeds, and I think again with the break coming up, they could be reassessing his position there in Leeds. I hope he still remains in the job when the Premier League fires back up in late December. West Ham 0, Leicester City 2. West Ham, my word, David Moyes. Oh boy, I hope they stick with him, but this is not where I expected to see West Ham. They have had a poor season. Need to find a way through. Newcastle 1, Chelsea 0. Chelsea dropped 3 straight Premier League matches for the first time since 2015.
Pulisic's future team, Newcastle? Question
I
mark?
believe so. Pulisic did not start this game, but he did come on at halftime. He came on to start the second half. 18-year-old Lewis Hall started left mid, usually Pulisic's spot, and 18-year-old Lewis Hall, who sounds like the Oxford debate member, as someone kindly put on the Facebook group. He's a big boy for 18, by the way. Played okay, but again, Newcastle 1, Chelsea 0. Chelsea on a slide here. I think the prediction we all made in this room 2 months ago when Graham Potter was hired at Chelsea is he might not make it through the season. He had a okay record at Brighton. He had an okay record at Swansea, but it wasn't stellar. They went out and paid a lot of money to get him, and they're paying him a lot of money to be the manager of this team. I don't think it works out well. Chelsea dropping like a stone through the league right now. 3 straight losses. Not looking good. Wolves 0, Arsenal 2. Arsenal cruising this game. I'm telling you right now, Arsenal, for the first time in a very long time, are top of the league at come Christmas. This team is built to win. They got some competitors, and they are young. Mikel Arteta, well done, man. This is fun to watch your team play. They are fun, energetic, pressing, fast. It is fun. Congratulations, top of the league come Christmas, Arsenal. I can't say much more. It's fun to watch them. Brighton Hove Albion 1, my Aston Villa 2. This was not a very entertaining game. Lots of yellow cards, lots of time-wasting tactics by Aston Villa at the end. I don't want to say dirty and disgusting, but they knew they needed the points. They did what they had to do to get it. I don't really agree with it, but I needed the points. We needed the points. Aston Villa 2, Danny Ings scores both goals. Well done. This was a very strange game for someone who is not a Villa fan or not a Brighton Hove Albion fan. Probably not the best game to watch. Yes, Nate, my friend.
Know who's linked with your Villa?
Who's that?
Thuram.
Yeah, hey.
And I think you would be great there.
Ooh,
So
that would be a
I
nice
think
little
you'd be
pickup.
really good.
Yeah.
A couple comments from Steve here. Nice win for LCFC Foxes coming back to the pack. And he also said, stunning upset for Man City.
Yes.
Steven, you're not wrong there. It was a good win for Leicester City. Brendan Rodgers has really saved his job in the last couple of weeks, and he's moving the Foxes up the table. Yeah, absolutely a stunning loss for Man City. No one saw that one coming. It's lucky that I have suspended my betting account because I was losing too much money, and I did not bet on that because I would not have bet on Brentford winning.
Wait, you suspended your betting account before like the 4-year World Cup?
Listen,
Are
I don't
you
need to re-up
reactivating this?
my account.
Was it
again.
you or did your wife make you do it?
Yeah, she doesn't know. On the down low, boys. On the
Because
down low.
I don't bet normally on anything, and my account's about to go active real quick here, faster than a hurry.
Yeah, I may have to top it up a little bit.
Do you want me
for
to
the
play
World
some bets
Cup.
for you?
No. I'm
Yeah,
good.
I can place a bet that England won't make it out of the group
Actually,
for
what
you.
I am going to do is I'm going to put some money in it and then have my 9-year-old son pick a winner, pick some stuff, because he will probably have a better idea than me.
Yeah.
Last game of the weekend, Fulham 1, Manchester United 2. Saved at the death by 18-year-old Garnacho. We called this last week. Garnacho is one hell of a player.
Yes.
I think he might have been the best player on the field again,
Yeah.
second week in a row. This time they get the win. Without him, without Eriksson, and De Gea making some good saves, this game goes the other way because Fulham dominated for stretches and actually looked like the better team, which is a little unusual
And
for
you
me.
knew who looked really good in that match?
Who's that?
One Mr. Tim Ream. Did you see every time they needed to reset the ball, and who they reset with was Tim Ream, and he was the guy dishing it out from the back to different players. He looked good. They looked good.
I don't want to say he was at fault for the first Man United goal, the Christian Eriksen goal, but he did get caught ball watching, but he did look good. I will say he looked like he stepped, he got caught out, and then Eriksen ran behind and he didn't look over his shoulder.
Well,
But
the Garnacho goal wasn't from his side.
it was not. Tim Ream looks like him and Jedi Robinson are in good shape to get to Qatar. Everybody from that for U.S. men's national team who played in England this weekend will be on their way to Qatar. A lot of the squad's already there. So that is, why don't we take a quick look at the EPL table? Here we are as we finish up. As you can see, Arsenal won on 37 points after 14 games. Manchester City 5 points behind on 32. Newcastle into third. Unbelievable. Eddie Howe is having a hell of a season over there. Really well done, Eddie Howe. Plus
Did you
18
listen to my
goal
podcast
difference.
I sent you on Eddie Howe?
I know. I did not get a chance to listen to it. I do want to listen to it, though.
It's a good one.
Yeah, he's a good coach. I don't know why it took so long for him to get a job. He sat there for almost, I think, 8 months without a job. Eddie Howe is
He's got the right mentality for a coach.
He
and
does.
I like it how he wasn't chasing, he's like, I'm doing it for the club. It's not because of the new owners and everything. It's because he cares about the players and the club, and that's what he's out for. And that's what I like about him. He's just a humble human being, and he wants to learn from his mistakes. And it was a great podcast. That was on the High Performance podcast. So that is if everyone wants to check that one out, that's a good podcast to listen to.
Nice. I'll definitely, you sent it, and I definitely will want to watch it because it looks good. Tottenham up to 4th, Man United up to 5th, Liverpool right behind them there in 6th, Brighton, even after suffering a loss today, in 7th, Chelsea dropped to 8th. Oh my. Fulham 9th, Brentford 10, Aston Villa at 12, Leicester City, Stephen Aversa's team, at 13, Leeds at 15 on 15 points after 14 games. West Ham to 16. 17th is Everton. And then, as you can see, Nottingham Forest climb off the bottom of the table. They're at 18th, still in the relegation zone. Southampton and Wolves. I think out of those 4 teams, Everton, Nottingham Forest, Southampton, and Wolves, 3 of those teams will be gone. Someone, if they can put a string of wins together, will get out. But out of those 4 teams, 3 of them are going to be gone at the end of the year unless they can figure something out. So interesting there.
Craig, do I get a gold star for predicting that United was going to beat Villa due to the masterclass tactics of holding their players back in the league match and then putting them on where it counted for the Caribou Coffee Cup?
I will definitely give you a gold star for calling out that United were benching and holding back their players in the league so that they could go on.
Well, they started Ronaldo in the league against Villa.
I think they had to. They were stuck with no one else.
No, They put Montreal in midway through, but they saved him.
Saved him for the
Caribou Coffee Cup.
For the coffee cup that everybody wants to.
Yeah.
The Moose Cup.
The Moose Cup.
Coffee
I
Cup.
like coffee, so I would do the same.
Speaking.
I don't think Caribou's a coffee company anymore.
They do like the packets.
Oh, they sell.
I say yeah.
Okay, they're
they
not
still-
in the stores.
You don't see them. They don't have their stores anymore. But you're right.
I asked if Glenn Hearn's watching. By the way,
Did you tag him?
no, I did not.
You were in love with that man.
He had some good comments last week. Well, come on.
I could possibly text him here.
And I'm in
ask-
love with
Brooks
Michael
is
Tyson.
Brooks is asking Glenn.
Ronaldo is shit. Where was he during our Ronaldo conversation?
Oh, you do not want Glenn.
I've been
on the
saying Ronaldo is
conversation.
shit for weeks, and you didn't like.
Oh,
like,
everybody thinks he's shit.
I think it's because it's Craig's brother. That's why it's just funny.
If only
He
my last
disagrees
name
with me
is.
on a lot of things.
I think it's the first name, Glenn. Power name.
Yes.
All right, Nate.
Good name.
Let's jump in. Let's do some Bundesliga, my friend. I want to talk Bundesliga. I want to talk some of the results this weekend. I want to talk how the table finished up. I do like how all the teams are on the same amount of games, and it's finished up. There's no one on 14 games, one on 15 games, one on 13. They've all finished it up, and they're all in the same amount. Let's talk Bundesliga, my friend. It is your time to shine.
When it's late at night and you're really bored and everything else has been covered, it's Bundesliga chat time with statistician expert Brooks and sexy voice man Craig.
I got sexy voice? All right. Yeah.
Hello.
Or did you want sexy voice, Brooks?
It doesn't matter.
I thought it's a statistician.
That's right.
All right, buddy. What do we got? What results stuck out? What happened in the Bundesliga this week that everybody needs to know about?
Nothing. And moving on. No, so this is obviously everyone knows that after this podcast I'm done. I'm going to be no longer on We Are Soccer podcast anymore.
At least not for the
because
next 6 weeks.
The Bundesliga is off, and there's no need for me. So Craig has just fired me. He said, pack your bag and get your stupid Stuttgart ass out of here. That's what he said. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that was a dream. Fever dream. Anywho, we start out the week with... Well, actually, we had midweeks, and midweeks got Nate all excited and giddy like a boy in a candy shop because there were some great games. You know, Freiburg losing to Leipzig there in the midweek. Union Berlin tying Augsburg. Stuttgart had a late winner, and that was kind of cool. But they did that so, as Craig pointed out, that all the teams would end up with the same games, not 14, 15, 13, 12 and a half hike. As they say in Germany, there's one thing that's for certain: the trains always run on time, and that's just that's what we do here. So, Gladbach, we kick off the weekend, the final weekend to close off, as normal the season, the first half of the season. Gladbach playing Dortmund. Gladbach firing out with a Jonas Hoffmann 4-minute goal, looking good. And then by then, Dortmund was just playing catch-up the rest of the time and struggling to get ahead. Gladbach looked phenomenal at game. Dortmund, according to the coach, you can't let 4 goals in like that and expect to win. And that's why we lost. I think now I'm not an expert, probably a language barrier there too, but I'm going to probably agree with him, Brooks, statistician. Going to team let in 4 goals and expect to win. Probably historically not, right?
Most of the time, no, unless it's a crazy game.
Yeah, they laid an egg 4-2.
Yeah.
Bayern did what they do. They went in to Schalke, punched in the face, walked out with a 2-0 win. The game that I was most enthralled with was, of course, Leverkusen versus Stuttgart. Xavi has Leverkusen looking really good. They're playing solid football. They're looking good.
He has gone in there and turned that club around, man.
Yep.
He is doing a job.
5 games. 5 games. They're 3 wins. Last 5, 3 wins, 1 tie, 1 loss. So they've scored. If you look at the last 3 games, they've scored in 3 games 9 goals and only conceded 1. And if you expand that 5-game margin out, it's 9 goals and 3 conceded. So they are actually looking really good. It's a good time for them to take a break, recoup. and get some of their players more again on the same page. On the flip side of the coin, Stuttgart were without two main men, Cialis and Sosa, and that showed, and they struggled, and they lost. And this could be the last time we see the interim coach because there's no indication that they're actually going to keep him. And it was announced actually on the TV, and I kind of forgot. Apparently, the sporting director's contract is up as well. So I'm wondering if the reason why they didn't hire or name a new head coach was because they might do a 2-for-1, get rid of the sporting director
and let the coach be both,
and or let the sporting director pick the coach, which is traditional actually, which is very common.
I feel like Germany doesn't usually want to do coach sporting director roles. They
No,
want
it's
two
not.
separate
But the
ones.
sporting director usually nominates the coach.
Yeah.
So it would make sense for them to let the sporting director go,
Yeah.
or if he's done, to wait when they got a new one in to allow him to nominate his man.
That sounds like probably the best way forward, right? Get a
Probably.
sporting director who you trust, and then have him pick the coach or lead the.
Yeah.
We'll say lead the search for the new coach. So
I like how
the sporting director is tied to the coach, and the coach performs poorly.
Yeah.
It doesn't show well for the sporting director. So that's how American sports are, right? General manager and coach. That's how it works here.
You're married together. Sometimes.
In most sports,
Yeah.
that's how it works. In most American sports.
So, moving on to today, we had Mainz versus Frankfurt. Mainz, like I said, Kevin Trapp had a phenomenal game. Who's the captain of Frankfurt, and he had a concession of goal line saves that were absolutely phenomenal. Mario Götze with the assist. For the goal, and it was a 1-1 draw. And the number 2 versus number 3 in the game. Hey, Craig, just out of curiosity, what's a high level of penalty kicks in a game? What would you say?
What's a high level?
Yeah,
number?
like penalty kicks given in a game. Like, what would you consider pretty? Like, wow, there was a lot of penalties there. Yeah.
I mean, 2 or 3, I'd probably go, oh my, okay, there's a lot. Yeah, I mean, if it happens to be 3, I go, oh my word, what happened in this game?
4.
4 in one game?
4 in one game.
That's unheard of.
So
That is unheard
Freiburg
of.
versus Union Berlin starts off with a 4-minute penalty right into it with Grifko, followed up by a 6-minute goal by Grifko, followed by a penalty conceded for Union, who missed it and hit the post, followed by another penalty conceded to Grifko that also resulted in a Union red card, and that would leave 3 goals for Grifo and a hat-trick within the first 20 minutes. Ended 4-1, phenomenal game back and forth, high energy, high level. And like I said, 1, 2, 3 of the goals that Freiburg had were penalties, and Union missed 1 penalty themselves.
Wow.
So it was a very entertaining game, very physical, back and forth. Actually, honestly, the first penalty, they called it handball, and I really didn't see it, to be honest with you. It was one of those that I thought was very, very light, and VAR might have failed here for the English team. But the other ones were definitely penalties that happened for sure. You know, one was one guy that was the Union penalty. The guy was just murdered in the box as he was like trying to get the ball. The Grifo penalty, his second one, he was murdered like running into the box, like just taken out. So 4-1. If we go to the table, Craig, can we go to the table?
We got that for you right here, buddy.
I don't want to talk about it. I'm a little sad because looks like the Union Berlin dream has died.
It absolutely has died.
But just like in Star Wars, where Yoda in his last breath said, there is another. Here comes Freiburg, raging up that table, just 4 points behind München, playing good football.
I want to point out that goal difference right now.
Yep.
The goal difference of plus 29 for Bayern Munich, and then the second place Freiburg plus 7. The next plus 29 is absolutely phenomenal. The next best is plus 8. Borussia Dortmund, I mean, plus 29. My word.
Yep.
They only have 1 loss and 4 draws. They have 4 draws.
24.
So and this table's a little bit, I don't know where you pull these tables because this one is not up to date, buddy. It's so München's number 1, Freiburg's number 2, Leipzig sitting at 3, Frankfurt's 4th, Union's 5th,
and Dortmund is 6, and it's 34 points, 30, 28, 27, 27, 25, 23.
Ooh.
So very, very tight still a tight race. So my hope is Freiburg is going to have a lot of their stars. They are losing two international players to the German squad, but I think the rest of them are really just kind of sitting home. Munich's losing everyone. Everyone's gone. They're all in Qatar doing their thing.
We're gonna update that right now.
It's the refresh
is
screen.
refresh that, folks. There is the updated. So you got
Plus 36. Okay.
Plus 36. Oh my
That's
God.
better.
Right.
Yeah, I
Close
like how
that
everybody's on
right,
15 games though. Everybody, unlike the Premiership and several other leagues, everybody's got like different amount of games played.
Yeah.
But Munich, at 1, Freiburg 2, Leipzig 3, and Dortmund fall all the way down to 6.
Yeah.
But yeah, plus 36.
And
Oh
I will
my
say
God. Unbelievable.
Freiburg or Leipzig is looking really good now.
Yeah.
That they have the Marco Rose is in there, and they've been rocking and rolling. They're only third because of the slow start they had with their other coach that then was fired before they brought him in. And Frankfurt just is found form and is just quietly just churning out results and doing good.
Yep.
And they are advancing in the Champions League, and it'll be interesting to see what happens and go with Union. I think they're done. I think they're out. I think they're
dropping like a stone.
they're
They're
dropping,
gonna
and they just don't have the depth. They don't. So unless they do something during the January transfer window and get some players in, unfortunately, I think their dream is over. The pipe dream's over here, and I think Freiburg really exposed them today with that 4-1 smacking. We'll see. We'll see how they do. We'll see if they can recoup. And kind of stay in and maybe make it into Europa, which would be, or maybe a Champions League spot at the 4th spot, but even a Europa for a Union Berlin side who
Still a big accomplishment.
it for them is amazing. And then at the other end of the table, you have my Stuttgart flirting with disaster there, but is not too far out from one win, and they could rock it up to 12th and 13th, and that's how it is. It's always tight at the top, tight at the bottom, and that's what makes the Bundesliga so interesting, in my opinion.
Agreed. All right, thanks, Nate. Appreciate all the facts, the scores, and everything on the Bundesliga. But now you're right; it does come to an end, at least for the next 6 weeks, I believe. They're on pause, 5 or 6 weeks.
There's nothing more to talk about because München's going to win everything.
Well,
including the Champions League. Germany's going to win the World Cup.
Yeah.
And yet again,
England, but that's okay.
England won't get out of their group.
I do want to ask you, you said you had a funny experience this weekend when you went to one of our favorite stores, which I think we may be visiting in the upcoming week, by the way. So, but I do want to talk to you about the Soccer World experience you had. So did you went to the one in Brighton, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Look at this hotness right now, right?
I don't like Germany, but that looks solid, man.
This is
a solid shirt.
I got my hair cut with my son because I needed to pick up, pardon me, some of these doodads. Nice new pair of shin guards that I got myself over there because my other ones I didn't lose. I got injured in a game, and I think I left them on the field during that moment of blindness. That's also with the wayside of my cleats, but luckily I still have an old pair. These guards I had were just way too big, so I got fitted with a nice new pair there. Love them. So I'm walking up, and first thing, I guess I have some fans because I'm looking in the window, and what do I see to the right? Dortmund jerseys. What do I see to the left? Munich jerseys. And I'm like, oh, yeah. I almost took a picture to you and sent it to you guys.
They knew you were coming, man. They knew you were coming.
I walked through the door, and they had, to the left, all like this top, another different top that was more expensive, and I'm cheap, so I didn't buy it. A fancy jacket. Again, cheap, didn't buy it because it was that was a price I couldn't walk away from. And I know everyone likes to buy in line, so now we're going to do some shameless plugs here. Hey, I like to buy my stuff online. Okay, cool. What I like to do is try to shit on so I don't have to return it and get my hopes and dreams up. Yep. So that's why I like going to the physical store. Call me old school. I don't really care.
Also, most companies nowadays, when you order stuff online, they're not doing returns anymore because
it
costs them money. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Ooh. So I like to actually try it on. And you know what? I'm one of those guys that I don't want to save $5 and then put it back on the shelf and walk away. I'd rather walk out the store with it. So I tried this bad boy on, and I was like, this fits awesome, and it's going to be bought now. So then I'm like walking over to the cleat section, and I see this store employee helping doing a great job. But you know me, I can't keep my goddamn mouth shut. Brooks can attest for that, and I think you can as well.
Yep.
So here comes Nate, boss hogging his way around. 3:15 benching Nate, walking right up. See a guy talking cleats, and he's talking about to the parents about the ones with the ankle guards, right? Because obviously that's what the parents always grab is the ankle guards. Why? Because the ankle guard is going to do the cloth is going to save your ankle. And I was like, as a father, as a coach, as a player, I'm like, stop! Nope, you don't want that. You don't want that. And they went, well, really, why?
Yeah, okay.
And I went, you want the slip-ins. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yep. I go, this way, you don't have to take your kid's shoe and sock all the way off. They're like, really? And I'm like, yep.
Yeah.
And the employee's like, yeah, actually, most people get those because of that. I'm like, yeah, you just push it right in, you're good, you're golden. I had these people like, we were talking shop. They were like, I was like the shin guard expert. I felt bad for the employee because he just like kind of creeped back out. I was like, oh my God, what do I do? So basically I was hawking shin guards over at Soccer World, slinging merch. Some weirdo walking around just talking shin guards, talking shop.
As long as you don't go to put the shoes on the kids' feet, I think you're all good.
We got there. We got close. I was like, so what size do you need, kid?
Yeah.
So I was over there, just selling merch. Over at Soccer World.
Good for you.
People thought I was an employee.
I was also at Soccer World this past week, and I couldn't get away without spending money either. Purchased this brand new England away jersey.
Why does yours only have 1 star again? Very confused.
You can't even see the star. It's in red.
Look.
But it's there.
Look, Stuttgart's got a star.
Stuttgart
And
does
this one's
stars
got
on
4. And you know what? America did the smart thing. Anytime you get a USA jersey, they just went ahead and put 3 stars, right? Even a USA jersey has 3 stars there, buddy. Look at that.
Yeah, those are worth.
What? They're on there.
They're on there.
They're on there.
No one knows what they mean, but they're on there.
They're part of the.
That's the old logo.
The
though.
design is the old logo. Yeah.
Yeah, they got in trouble.
They updated it. It's got no stars on it.
Why?
But if you guys are looking for some gear, if you're looking for some hot gear like this or like that. Visit Soccer World, and there are 3 locations here in Michigan: Canton, Brighton, and Rochester, or soccerworld.net online.
I do need to talk to him because I'm wondering if they could order Stuttgart gear for me.
They probably could.
Because you can't get it through their store, and it's hard to there's stuff I'd love to buy, and I can't get it sent overseas. So I need to talk to them to see if they can put what they call a special order in, Craig.
One of the things I did pick up as well is another one of these bad boys.
Oh yeah.
FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 Panini sticker albums. Look at that.
Nerd.
It's got pictures.
Brooks,
Oh, man.
come on. Just
That's
because he
awesome.
likes to collect paninis.
Get into the stickers.
I
Ooh.
Nice sticker book, loser. Brooks.
Hey, man.
That's
These
just
stickers are awesome. I love this. You know what?
We have a lot of people in our Facebook group that like to do this. All right,
Yeah,
they're
there are a
sticker
lot of
collectors.
people. They love the sticker books, man.
Yes.
My buddy Eric.
I think
who
Luke is a
who
big-
I owe one of these books
Yeah.
to.
No,
Yeah.
no, Glenn. No one asked me for an autograph. They just thought I was a creep.
Glenn joined in, huh? Oh,
Now
boy.
Brooks is complete.
Yay!
And yes,
Hi,
Michael,
Glenn.
the U.S. women's team beat Germany today. They lost to them yesterday, so I'm not sure what
This
that means.
Two or 3 days ago. Yeah, they played them in friendlies again. The first time
Yeah.
the U.S.
Oh,
women's
it's just
national
friendlies, yeah.
team lost 3 games in a row since 1993. They did win today, regaining a little bit of respect. And Vladko kind of saved his job there. Again, I don't think too many people right now, unfortunately, I don't care, are paying attention to the women's soccer, obviously with the men's soccer being in the World Cup and that coming up 7 days away. Also, boys, I did want to let you know and everybody else watching, Wrexham are not first in their league. They actually they drew yesterday, so now they're second in the league. And they are not pausing. Wrexham is not pausing for the World Cup. Their league continues playing as some of the lower divisions do.
Yeah.
They just play right through these international breaks. So there is local soccer to be watched at some of the lower levels. Just an FYI.
Yeah.
But yeah, U.S. women's national team not doing so well. 3 losses in a row. You know what? These are kind
They
of.
won today, though.
They did win today. Yeah,
Yeah.
they did win today. I do. You know what? Why don't we open?
More stickers.
Yeah, I want to open
Yeah.
some stickers. Let's see what we got.
Open your stickers, loser.
Yeah.
Brooks. It's amazing how you can throw your voice like that.
Yeah,
I
it's
know.
crazy. All right.
Ventriloquist.
Let's see what we got. All right, let's see what we got. Ao Tanaka. That dude's name is A.O. for Japan. A.O. Tanaka.
By the way, Japan is a very underrated squad as well. And
Japan actually has a pretty good squad.
I think Germany and Japan will get out of the
group.
group over Spain, to be frank.
Could be.
I do.
Ooh, Yuri Tillemans for Belgium. Good player right there. I like watching him play. Dude was born in 1997. Really? Tillemans, Leicester City player. Simon Kjær, the Denmark captain. This is one of the guys who, when Christian Eriksen went down, he was the one that kind of helped everybody gather around Eriksen while he was being resuscitated on the pitch. Good leader, good player, Simon Kjær. Gerson Torres for Croatia.
Ooh.
This is one I've been waiting for. I've been waiting for this sticker. This will
Is it a young Croatian?
1997.
Yeah.
Not as young as you think, no. And then you've got Jonas Wind for Denmark, born in 1999. So 19 years younger than me.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I'm getting old. All right. All right. Why don't we look towards some of the other games coming up in the World Cup, if I can find where that schedule is?
While you're pulling that up, off the cuff and weird,
Go
I'm
for
just
it,
going to
buddy.
shoot it out.
Please.
There's a new Netflix cartoon. Soccer
Yeah.
cartoon.
My kids
with
were
your
watching that the other
It is
day.
awesome. And you know how ecstatic my son was when I told him Zlatan was actually a real person and that they share birthdays? He's like, Dad, really? And I pulled up the LA Galaxy goal, the first one he had where he just smashed it from
When he beat Tyler Adams, because Tyler Adams is always off his line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I'm like, that's the same guy, right? And he's like, yeah, it is. Yeah. It's so, I was talking to a parent about this where it's not the bag on this country or the game here. It just, there's a cultural difference that we're trying to catch up with. And I think anything like the Beckham documentary for kids, the cartoon that I just pointed out, and he's like kid centered. If your kid's a player, having them just turn it on, having them watch it. My daughter's watching the Beckham documentary. The first thing she said when I walked in, she goes, Dad, David Beckham wears the same number as me. He wears number 7. And it's it's a different. We don't have the culture. We're still trying to build it and develop it, and it's hard even in this area where you don't have the MLS giants and stuff like that to do it. And I think anything like this. I think really helps kids that they get exposed and experience a little bit more of that culture.
Yeah. Also, congratulations to San Antonio FC. The score is final. This is the USL Championship match between Louisville City. They won 3-1.
3-1.
So the Western Conference takes home the trophy this year for USL Championship.
Wow,
Yes.
Very nice. That is awesome.
Yes.
In that Zlatan cartoon
Yeah.
on Netflix, Megan Rapinoe is also in there, I believe.
And Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah, I think it's done by Weird Al, right? Is
Yeah,
that
no,
Weird
he also
Al?
plays a villain.
He
So
does?
it's
Oh, that's
actually a pretty good
surprise.
cartoon. It's pretty cool.
That's
It's
pretty
I thought it was.
I saw my kids watching it the other day. I was like, what the hell is going on here? That looks
pretty
like
awesome.
Zlatan. Oh, there it is. And
Rob
then-
Stone's in it. It's
Rob Stone's
in
in
the
it?
very
Really?
beginning, he's commentating, and Zlatan goes, "Now Zlatan will score this penalty kick, and you need to be quiet up there." And he's like, "Shouldn't you be focusing on the penalty kick? And how can you hear me?" And he's like, "It's just they basically said, hey, Zlatan, we're gonna make a cartoon. We want you to play yourself and go." And it's just it's solid. The whole thing is solid. It's good stuff.
I have not had a chance yet to watch the David Beckham document or the series on Disney with my kids, but I really want to. I know you boys have started an episode or two. Pretty good series so far.
I haven't gotten that deep into it because I'm trying to watch it at the same time.
episodes.
But you said you were 2 episodes. You were hit and miss on it. But again, I think you got to put yourself in the. It's centered towards
Disney.
kids. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think they're trying to get kids into it, but it's
Yeah.
also for us soccer-loving adults, right?
yeah. Real quick, Michael asked next week you guys bringing out some boards and making World Cup predictions. I don't know how good our artwork is.
We could do that.
Ooh, well, we are going to have a World Cup challenge. That'll come up tomorrow. We were trying to decide if we were going to do one or jump on another bandwagon of one, but we're going to do it ourselves. So there will be prizes. We will have a Soccer World prize. We will have a prize worth about $200.
I was just quasi offended that you said there was other brackets you were in,
I got-
and
I
I
got
didn't. And
fed.
I said, "What are these brackets?" And you said nothing.
Well, I got fed several brackets from other companies or
I like
outfits
brackets.
or whatever it is.
I mean, one man can only put Germany so many times winning this.
If that's who
And
you
I am that
are.
one man, and I can do it
You are
many,
that
many
one
times.
man.
Just-
Yeah, I'm gonna put. We have it almost set. It'll go out probably tomorrow into the Facebook group. So $200 worth of prizes for the We Are Soccer World Cup bracket challenge. So Michael, that'll be out. That'll be out
Oh,
tomorrow.
I can't wait to
Keep your
get this
eyes
one
open.
dead wrong on my
Dead wrong.
MLS one because I'm going to overthink the shit out of this
Yep.
versus what I did for MLS where I was like, oh, Austin FC will move forward because my brother lives in Austin and I like their stadium. That's literally how I pick things, Brooks. That's literally how I did it. And this one will be like, oh, well, the statistical average, I looked up, and I will just be so dead wrong. I'll be like, oh, Germany's going to win it all. It's going to be Japan and Spain getting out of that group, with Germany not winning a game. I'll be like, what?
Glenn's saying that Germany isn't going to win.
Well, that's okay to be wrong, Glenn.
Yeah.
Everyone's wrong every now and then.
Oh boy. Something that came out, I think it was yesterday or this morning. Barcelona are still interested in the Super League.
Yeah, so like if they do it, they
Yeah.
get it's like $1 billion or whatever.
They get
dollar.
$1 billion
Yeah.
euros for any team that joins
Which
the
helps
Super
them with their
League.
debt.
€1 billion. That's why Barcelona need the Super
What-
League.
what do you
because
mean?
They are $1.2 billion in debt.
I
so
thought they would be.
need to
I
pay
thought
it
they'd
off.
be good, like just winning the Europa that they won't win.
Yeah, I know.
That's gonna be a hell of a game, by the way. Barcelona versus United.
We don't see. Okay, so maybe some of the Spanish or the Italian teams will disappear into the Super League, but it's not going to be a Super League because none of the English teams are going to go. Can
Well,
you see any English team disappearing?
Yes.
Who?
Well, because your English teams are now all owned by Americans and they like playoffs. But they'll have no German teams in there 100% guaranteed, just like before, because of 50+1.
Oh, I agree.
And
No German teams will go,
No.
but I don't think any English team will because you remember how
No,
quick they all backtracked. All the owners backtracked.
They only backtrack because of the
fans.
whiplash. But you get some American owners in there that don't understand things and don't live there, and they might not care as much.
They're like, money? What's
Yeah.
this? Let's
I
do
tell
this.
you what.
What is this money you speak of?
Yes.
€1 billion will only last so long when you've got no fans coming to your game.
Yes,
because,
just like-
I mean, those fans
Yep.
really did. Man United fans,
Yep.
Chelsea fans, Arsenal fans, Liverpool fans. They all banded together.
Yep.
Right? They all came together for the same common cause of.
Just how boring it
Fuck
is
the
to
Super
watch
League.
the same clubs play all
I
the
agree.
time.
Yep.
but
No, I
that's-
agree. I agree
yeah.
with you. Fan outrage, would be great if it was a thing that actually would exist, and that's why you have a World Cup now that you're saying is going to be the most watched, and also the one that has spent
Well,
and has the most corruption, and actually has killed the most people in the process, and it has had the most people speak out about it. But guess what? Everyone's going to watch it anyways. We're all going to forget about it because Coca-Cola.
I don't think I would watch the Super League with 12 teams.
Bullshit.
I wouldn't watch that. It just because they will have ruined soccer within those countries. I don't think I would watch it. I think
If they
the Champions
pitched it
League
right-
is already the Super League, but you got to
Yeah.
earn your way in.
Yeah.
That's what I love about it. I think those clubs would end up shrinking and losing a lot of fans. The World Cup is a little different. I disagree with everything that's gone into the buying, the atrocities, and
But
the
you're
killings
still
of the
gonna
stadiums
watch
and
it.
everything. I'm still going to watch it.
Yeah.
But it's not every year, and they haven't killed the sport like I think
They're doing
the
a damn good
fans
job
are really
trying.
conflicted. The fans are very conflicted on the World Cup, and I understand it. With that Super League, I don't remember meeting anybody or talking to anybody who said this Super League's a great thing. Every single person was, holy shit, this is going to ruin the sport, and everybody was against it, and they came together. Fans of all these clubs that hate each other came together and agreed that it was a bad thing, and that's why it stopped, because the owners had to backtrack so quick.
Until they devise a new way to just package it different,
Yeah,
which is
maybe.
almost what they did with the Champions League a little bit with the way they've packaged that now.
By the way, weren't we going to talk about Thierry Henry and his comments
Ooh, we were.
from a few weeks ago about the men's national team and how he thinks the older veteran players are more equipped for the World Cup than the newer ones?
Why don't we talk about it now? That's an interesting topic that we all kind of. I think we had a little bit of a disagreement on there.
We did.
I never said my point of view.
So Thierry Henry did come out and say that the guys to his whatever they were sitting at said that
was
the
Dempsey,
older
Charlie
generation
Davies, there's
was
a
a
bunch
better
of-
team.
yeah.
It was Davies, Dempsey, and who else was on the panel with
Oh,
him?
Maurice Adu.
Oh, yeah, Maurice
Yes,
Adu,
yes.
who barely played for the U.S. national team, by the
Yeah.
way. He was not exactly a mainstay or a real starter.
No.
Maurice Adu, Dempsey, Charlie Davis said, the guys to my left, they were a way better team than the current U.S. men's national team. I would like, Brooks, what's your thoughts on that comment?
In some aspects, yes. For heart
Help me.
and physicality and willing to die for another teammate and to put your body on the line is the biggest difference between I see with this older national team and this younger one. Now, guys that I think really have that on this current one are guys like Walker Zimmerman, probably your Tim Ream, your more veteran guys. Your Christian Roldan.
Adams is starting to show it.
But the problem is they're all very individualistic. Now, are they technically better players and probably have a little better soccer IQ? Yeah. Some of them do. I still consider, I know you don't like Clint Dempsey, but I think he was
Can't stand the man?
I know you don't, but I think he was...
As a player or as a commentator?
I know. But I think he was one of the better and best U.S. men's guys to put on the jersey. Same with Landon Donovan.
I'd rather have Landon Donovan over Dempsey.
Yeah, I know you would.
I get your point.
I'm saying,
Dempsey,
though, like,
Dempsey is known. It has been written about his grittiness in the Premier League.
Exactly. And you need grit and hard work and determination to do what those past guys did in 2002, 2010. And
I expected
to get
nothing less from you as the MLS guy, Brooks. Nothing less on that.
Yeah.
All right, Nate, what are your thoughts on
I
today's
100%
comments?
actually agree with Brooks. Now, I'm going to caveat it, though, with we'll see. We'll see.
Yep.
But the reason why we were dumped out 4 years ago was because we had a lack of grit.
Yes.
That was known. When we had
Another
guys
very-
being
another very
carried,
young squad,
and we had
though,
guys
that was
being
dumped out.
carried through puddles because they couldn't get their feet wet or anything like that. And these old school guys were like, "Are you kidding me? What is going on right now? Why are we saying that?" And so I 100% agree with Terry Henry's comments. So skill wise, we have a better skilled team.
Yeah.
But skill doesn't win you games sometimes.
Exactly.
Especially in a World Cup where you play in a team once.
Once. Yep.
So I
And it could
agree.
get- and it
if
could
you're
get
lucky,
ugly.
you get
Yeah.
to play once on a World Cup
No,
team.
I mean, you're
Zack
playing-
Steffen doesn't
You have 3
essentially
games.
care.
You have 3 games guaranteed, and then the rest is up
Right.
in the air. So you need that grit. You need those guys. Now,
Yes.
I do think
anyone is playing to win in these World Cup games. Some aren't going to play pretty soccer. Some want to play pretty soccer. Some games are going to call for ugliness, where you got to pick up second balls and whatnot. And this is what this if this U.S. men's national team has to pick up second balls and just battle with guys
Well,
that
that's
want
why
to
they
go
got-
direct, they're fucked.
that's why they got
so let
smoked.
me
That's
ask-
why they got smoked by Japan.
Let me ask you a
So
question here.
let me
Yeah.
I will say that I think Kellen Acosta, for sure, slamming a ball on the ground, looking at a Mexican forward and saying, "You're about to miss a penalty kick in front of everyone and you're going to be embarrassed."
Yeah.
Grit. He's there.
yeah.
Tyler Adams apparently has been showing a lot of flashes
Yeah.
of it. So
Aronson at
Aronson,
Leeds,
and
yeah.
so we'll see. Maybe these guys have turned a corner and figured it out, playing where they're playing now and being around the environment they've been around. But that's why they got smoked by Japan,
Yep.
because Japan walked in there ready for a fist fight,
Yep.
and
those
USA
guys
walked in.
fight.
Yeah, and USA walked in ready for a friendly.
Yeah.
And that was the difference here, and why they got lit up by Japan.
That's why it
This
always
coming
be-
from the guy who said it was a glorified friendly and didn't care, didn't matter, but understood.
It
Hold
is,
on.
but at the same time, you watch me in any training friendly, doesn't matter what it is, just personally, and I'm going out there ready to brawl.
Yeah.
Right now, I might not care about the scoreline, but I'm putting it all out there. I want it to, I want to go.
Yeah.
All right, question for both of you. One answer. 2010 U.S. men's national team versus 2022 U.S. men's national team. They're playing against each other. Who wins?
I got to remember who's on that 2010.
I'm
We
looking
had
at that
Dempsey.
right
we
now.
had
We
Landon Donovan. We had Bradley. We had.
I mean, all the players we just.
Well, it's got to be the one that recently qualified. You can't go with the one that didn't qualify. What we
They
got?
didn't
So
qualify for
2014.
18. You want to do the 14 one?
You gotta be the
ahead
last
and
one
do
that qualified.
Go ahead and do the 2014 team then. All the players we've talked about were on that team. Who wins, the 2022 or the 2014 team?
Single game?
Single game. One game elimination. One game, one winner.
Who's my back line? Who's my midfield? Brooks, help me out here. Already you got a better goalkeeper in Tim Howard.
So you had Tim Howard.
You already got a better goalkeeper. I'm sorry.
You had DeAndre Yedlin, Omar Gonzalez, Michael Bradley, Matt Beasler, John Brooks, DeMarcus Beasley, Clint Dempsey, Aaron Johansson, Discarud, Bedoya, Guzan, Jermaine Jones.
Discarud.
Yeah.
He
Brad
gets
Davis.
into the team.
Brad Davis, Kyle Beckerman.
Tell me, Beckerman and Frankie Hayduk as well.
Julian Green. Hayduk wasn't in this one. Julian Green, Josie Altidore, Wondolowski, Zuzi, Jeff Cameron, Timmy Chandler, Nick Raimondo, Fabian Johnson.
All right, viewers.
The 2010 team.
Is that the 14 or the 10?
That's the 14. Do you want the 2010?
Well,
I'm going to
go
take
with the 14 team.
I'm going to go right now. I'm going to say the 14 team wins. And it's going to be the ugliest game of soccer you've ever seen. It's going to be the ugliest game of soccer you've ever seen.
I want the comments from the viewers.
You're also hold on.
I agree because Kyle Beckerman going to fuck you up in the midfield.
They fucking tied England.
Yeah.
They fucking beat Portugal.
Yeah.
They beat Ghana. They got to that and took it to the wire with Belgium. And they didn't take it to the wire with skill. They took it to the wire with grinding. Yeah. And that's why they grinded. That team was highly athletic. You can criticize their skill, and I'll agree with you. Their skill was not there. Their skill is definitely not to what it had that, but that's not what we're talking. We're talking a physical 90-minute fight.
Jermaine Jones and Kyle Beckerman would
fuck
Kyle Weston McKennie.
Oh my God, they would.
Tyler Adams has a chance, but like the Yunus Musa physically,
they would not.
The level of
go back to Japan.
In the
go
level
back
of
to
world
Japan.
Soccer, those players are so far down the pecking order in any level.
I understand.
Hilarious.
I understand.
Tim Howard is your standout player on that team.
I'm not. No one's questioning that.
Jermaine Jones?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I don't think Discar
Tyler
really
Adams,
played, to be honest
Aronson,
with you.
Pulisic, Gio Reyna.
Oh, Discar didn't.
Hello?
He didn't really start or play much. Yeah.
Jedi Robinson, Dest.
Nope.
McKinney? Are you kidding me? I guarantee it's a tough game. But it's not. I'm sorry.
Just out of curiosity.
2022.
Just out of curiosity, how'd those players do against that powerhouse Japan with all the name someone on the Japanese team right now? Just go. Name it. Yeah. Stop.
That's pretty easy.
Exactly.
Ao Tanaka.
Okay. Name
Not a sticker.
name number 2 on there because you can't because that's the reality. And that Japan team made us.
Just because I can't name a Japanese national team member.
But your argument was that those guys are so low, and I agree with you. They're not names that stand out, just like the Japan team is not names that stand out. Yeah. But where you're wrong is, and where I think you're wrong is, just like the Japan team, if I want Jermaine Jones and Beckerman. Beckerman, thank you. Beckerman to do
Why
a number.
Why is Kyle Beckerman bad? He was a great player.
He was solid.
Player.
He never got his chances. He deserved
Let me ask you a question.
God.
Let me ask you a question. 2014 Portugal team versus our team right now. Who's better?
At what? The 2022 team's way better skill.
The 2014 Portugal team with Ronaldo then?
Oh, I'm sorry. Portugal. The 2014
Who's better?
Team's probably because Ronaldo at that point was one of the top players in the world.
How'd they fare against that mixed bag of shit?
We won.
Yes, thank you. That's my point.
Yeah.
Who's better? England's 2014 team or this team right here? Now I'm going to make them really pissed.
This team right here.
The 2014 England team?
Then the 2014.
Okay,
I take this
who's
team over
who's
that.
better? Belgium 2014 or this team right here? Because they took them down to the wire.
They did.
They took them down to the wire.
Team.
Yeah.
All right, boys, we're out of time. We've gone. We can go on forever on this. Again, thank you for everybody who joined the show. Thank you for liking the show. Thank you for everything. Thank you for the comments. Thank you. Please share this. We will be back next week. And at that point, we will be one game into the 2022 Qatar World Cup, and we'll be looking forward to the games coming up. And remember, USA play Wales on that Monday. We will have a bracket challenge. We will have that out for you in the upcoming days here. Be sure to join in. Put your bracket in and see how well you do because there's $200 worth of prizes. Thank you from the boys at the kids table and myself, and we'll be back next week.